been burned, I've been broken, still I rise, yeah, the story's been spoken. Every scar just shows what I came through. I'm stronger now, and I shine brand new. The climb was steep, but I held on tight. Step by step, I found my light. Shots fired, but I keep moving, turn the pace, steady grooving. From the ashes, I'm reaching high, altitude living, I'm touching the sky. Shots fired, but I keep moving, turn the pace, steady grooving. From the ashes, I'm reaching high, altitude living, I'm touching the sky. Not my trauma, not my change.
Welcome back to The Rise from Ashes to Altitude, a living, breathing book tour based on my award-winning book, Shots Fired, A Heroine's Memoir. I'm your host, Tracy Lance, and through intimate conversations, behind-the-scenes storytelling, and powerful guest voices, we explore what it really means to rise from trauma, reclaim resilience, and turn wounds into wisdom. Each episode is a tour stop into a different part of the journey that takes us somewhere new, geographically, emotionally, spiritually, from fire and bullets to forgiveness and elevation. Our mission is to create a space where vulnerability is honored, healing is possible, and every listener is reminded your story carries strength, your voice carries truth, and your scars are no longer wounds. They're beauty marks of survival that make you bulletproof. Today's conversation is one I've been deeply looking forward to. This episode brings us to Indianapolis, Indiana. The reason why I chose this location for today's episode is because Indianapolis is a city known for its warmth, resilience, and understated strength. This city blends the charm of the Midwest with the momentum of a city continually reinventing itself. From its thriving arts districts and diverse culinary scene to its deep-rooted sports culture, Indy embodies the spirit of perseverance and forward motion. It's a place where bold ideas take root, a place where community truly matters, a place where my powerful, brilliant, and deeply inspiring guest currently resides. Just like this city, her story is one of transformation, resilience, and reclaiming your voice. Just like this city, her story is one of transformation, resilience, and reclaiming your voice. The perfect foundation for an episode about rising with purpose and embracing the process. Hi, Leslie. There you are. How are
Hello,
you?
it's my Tracy. I'm doing well. How are you?
So let me introduce you, Leslie. Today, I am joined by the phenomenal Leslie Nicole Smith. Leslie wears so many hats. She's an executive consultant, president, CEO of Leslie Nicole Speaks, where she offers motivational speaking, one-on-one transformation strategy services, and empowerment coaching for high-achieving women. I love Leslie. She's a dynamic community leader and change maker, served as a recurring columnist for the Indianapolis Reporter. She's held board positions. She was honored in the 40 Under 40 Young Women Professionals League for co-founding and co-hosting the online talk show Freedom Girls Talk while living in Chicago. She's served on the Indy Chamber's Women in Business Outreach Committee and is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Inc. Welcome, Leslie. I'm so honored to have you here on The Rise.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm honored to be here. I'm very excited that we're reciprocating tonight.
And I'm going to talk about your show in a minute, but I want to tell the audience how much you love traveling, trying new restaurants, and spending time with your husband and two beautiful children.
Thank you.
And I just also want to say that Leslie is a woman whose journey reflects what happens when you stop chasing approval, stop chasing money, stop chasing noise, and instead start listening to your calling. Her story, like I said, is one of transformation, roadblocks, and the courage to reclaim a voice that was once suppressed. And this is Leslie's story. Before we get all off into the depth of um, your story, your voice, and the work you're doing through the Coach's Kitchen truly resonate with the heart of this show, Leslie. So thank you again for saying yes to and your willingness to be here and pour into this conversation. I'm so grateful to have you. And I want to just keep it light in the beginning and
Okay.
talk about how we first met, because it was a weird connection. And weird,
Okay.
not in a bad way. It was just weird because I think I first saw you go live on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
talking about Oprah. So I
Mm-hmm.
want you to tell the audience how we met. I love to hear your story of how
My
we
take. Oh goodness. So, at the time, I was the co-host of Freedom Girls Talk,
met.
myself and MJ, and I had done just a video about how I was gonna be on like be in Oprah's presence, be on her couch. We were just gonna be chatting it up, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna be on Oprah! Oh my gosh, when?" And I'm like, "Oh, it hasn't happened yet." I was just speaking it into existence. And then I got this message from you in my inbox like, hey, I really resonated with what you said, how you just speak things into existence. I was wondering if you would come and speak to me and my friends. And I was like, okay, where is it? My house. I was like, ooh, okay. Don't know you, woman. So we met in a very public place. I have to continue to say that for my mama. But we met in a public place. We went on a walk out in Olympia Fields, I think it was. Yep, in Olympia Fields. And we walked and talked for at least an hour. And that was our first date, so to speak. And we've been connected ever since. Yeah, just connected ever since.
I love to say how we're kindred spirits because we both have a desire to meet Oprah someday.
We do.
And I really hope that we could bring those dreams and hopes into fruition one day. Because you have Freedom Girls Talk, and then you
Hmm.
also have the Coach's Kitchen, and you have such a powerful voice. Tell me what you think about our setting or what I said earlier about Indianapolis and having that as our not just where you reside, but as the setting for today's show. What did I miss anything about Indianapolis that you think I should have mentioned?
Indianapolis is a huge sports city.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge sports city. The funny thing is when you said warm, I was like, warm? Indianapolis is warm? I was like, but I was like, okay, maybe the warm people.
Talking about the people,
The people, I was like, 'cause, I mean,
not
it's
the
always
weather
different
outside. Yes.
months of the year. So yes, but I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, sports certainly a sports city, family city, very well connected city. You can't really go anywhere without knowing someone who knows someone. So oh yeah, it's yeah. I mean it's metropolitan, but it's certainly I could literally go up to wherever, and I'm sure I could. It's less than 6 degrees to here. It's probably more like 2 or 3. Yeah.
What's so special about Indianapolis for me is that I've run 4 marathons in that Indianapolis Monumental Marathon.
Yeah.
I got to know Indianapolis very intimately through running those marathons, and it's just beautiful. You see, when we're running towards that Capitol building.
Mm-hmm.
That's the monuments,
Mm-hmm.
just to see all of what's around that monumental building.
Right.
It's so amazing to see that once you come around that curve and you're hitting the finish line, they have it perfectly set up where that finish line is. It's so inspirational even to see, as you're running towards the finish line, just to see that monumental building sitting right there. So
Yeah.
Indianapolis was special for me, and it's also one of the many places that I've run a marathon in where the food is delicious. I didn't know, I would have never known that Indianapolis has such great cuisine.
We do. I would say, Chicago still has us beat, but Indianapolis, I mean, especially Mass Ave, is delicious. Mass Ave has some amazing, intricate.
What is that? Is that a restaurant?
Which ones? Mass Ave? Oh, I'm sorry. So it's no, it's actually it's a street. It's called Massachusetts Avenue, but there's a lot of restaurants. It's a diagonal street, pretty much like on the east of the city and it or downtown. It's located downtown.
Yeah.
But it's delicious. It's some great restaurants and you can't really like find another one. They're not really chain restaurants.
Right.
Some of them are, a couple are, but not a whole lot of them are.
Yeah. I love the food. So you you talk so have you read my book?
Mhm. Most of it.
Yes,
I
so
can't say all of it. I still got some the last part of it, but yes, I have.
so you were reading the parts that because Oprah Winfrey is mentioned a lot in the book. She's in
Hmm.
a lot of a lot of my journey. So I talked about where it was the Oprah classroom and how she was a very huge part. She played a huge part in me even climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Hmm.
What is so special about Oprah Winfrey for you?
Oh, brother. I have to think back. Oh man, it's been years. It's been years in the making. I think for me, it's the way that she has been able to empower the masses.
Yes,
Um, and when I say the masses, it's not just one type of person, but she is so influential. She brought on so many, I mean, various guests. But then she was also able to tap into other areas, like in terms of her business. So she's got O Magazine, and then she has the network, and of course her best friend Gail. But but then she has all these different avenues of maintaining her entrepreneurship journey and it seems like she just did not, I won't say that she didn't care what other people think because now that you hear more of her story now, she really did care about what other people thought, but she kept going
yes,
in spite of. She
yes,
kept going in spite of. And that is what even motivates me more as a 40-plus-year-old woman versus a 20-plus-year-old woman back in the day. Because back in the day, it was just like, oh my gosh, it's Oprah. Oh my gosh, it's Oprah. But now, now that I'm 45, I'm just like, she persevered in spite of, and she is seated. She has probably caused other people to be like, "Oh shoot, I messed up." Back in the day when she, was let go of jobs and not accepted in this circle, and I know they're probably sitting back like, "Oh, I wish I would have listened."
exactly.
So,
Just like you're talking about her, I feel the same way about you with your the way that you empower women
mhm.
are so motivational and inspirational in your support for women. I like to think of you as a women's advocate, because you inspire so many. And just like you're talking about Oprah, so was that one of the things that inspired you, like watching her in her show and how empowering she was for women? Is that what helped you to start your Coach's Kitchen not podcast, but your Coach's Kitchen talk show?
Sure, sure. It actually was not. Um, it was Jesus.
Yes, yes.
Let me just be honest. I'm like, it was Jesus. It was Jesus. And that's the part you talk about reclaiming my voice, and I know we'll get there, but it was part of me reclaiming my voice. And the Lord was like, okay, I realize that you're coaching, but I want you to be able to showcase other women's voices and like what have they been able to accomplish? We all have a story. We've all gone through some type of challenge or obstacle, but how have you been able to do that as a high achieving woman?
Yes,
Because we wear so many hats as high achieving women, and we have
especially you, especially you.
girl, we have it all together. No,
Yes.
we don't. We don't have it all together. So
No.
let's be. So
Yes.
that's what really. It was the Lord.
Yeah. So, so Coach's Kitchen podcast. Your mission is to share stories that really matter. And in fact, you are the one who inspired me to start this podcast because I was the first guest,
You
the
were.
first proud guest to be on your show. And it was because of that that inspired me to go ahead because I had been wanting to, you know how we always have a desire to do things and I'm going to do this and I want to do this. And everything has to be laid out perfectly before before you hit the ground and start it. And once I set stage on your talk show, I left that talk show thinking I could just start this podcast without the whole, thinking that everything had to be perfectly put
Mhm.
in place first. And so I just want to thank you because now I'm 9 episodes in, and I'm so proud that I
I'm
went.
so proud of you.
I'm like I'm so inspired and I'm so proud that I got it going. Because at first it was, I'll wait to do it in January. I'll wait to this. But
Mhm.
thank you so much. I wanted to make sure that I thanked you for helping to put that fire under me to get this show started. So let's get into something
Absolutely. And you
powerful. And you mentioned it earlier, talking about suppressed voices. But your voice, I follow your show, and you speak a lot about how your voice was suppressed. Can you
Mhm.
tell us that story and what it meant to have your voice suppressed? What brought that on, and then how you overcame that? Want me to start? Let's start that part over. So let's get into
Okay.
something really powerful. Your voice. I follow your show and I
Mhm.
listen to you speak about your voice being suppressed. And then you just mentioned that a little bit earlier. But can you take us back to that time? What was happening in your life where you felt like your voice was suppressed? And then I want to know
Mhm.
how you overcame that.
Yeah. I would say in various ways. So I am an Indianapolis native, and so I had, as I mentioned, I moved back from Chicago to Indianapolis back in 2018, and I took on a position at my alma mater, and it just got to the point where I was experiencing extreme burnout. My commute was almost an hour one way, once you include drop off or pickup or got to run an errand or whatever the case may be. So there's that. And then also working 60 to 80 hours a week, on top of just various accumulations of job responsibilities. And so through all of that, I was just like, okay, I'm over it. I'm done. I had gained, oh my gosh, I want to say like 50 pounds or so, um, in maybe a year and a half to 2 years. It was awful. It was like the COVID hit. I felt like I wasn't really listened to anymore in various aspects of my life. And so I went to a women's retreat, back in 2022. And the Lord was like, just quit your job. I was like, have you lost your mind? I was like, do you remember the financial heartache we experienced back in Chicago? I'm not trying to go back there.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. He was like, I got this. This is what you need to do. Just go, just quit. And so I had been on an FMLA leave for about 2 weeks, and I went and I quit. And I was done probably within like in the next week or two after that. Um, but I was very immobile. People did not recognize me. We can talk about that too if you want to, but people did not recognize, I didn't recognize myself. People didn't recognize me that have known me here in Indianapolis for years.
When you say people didn't recognize me, I didn't recognize myself. Was that because of the weight gain?
hmm Because of the weight gain, I hid a lot. I didn't go out. People would invite me to things, I wouldn't go. I just stayed in the house, and I would only go if like it was like because of my kids or because of my husband or because it was like a really, really, really close friend. But I would choose not to attend events. I mean, someone literally got their doctorate degree and had a whole party. I was invited and did not go. I was embarrassed and ashamed. I look like.
Was the weight gain part of the suppressed voice?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was part of the suppressed voice, but it was also a major component of my burnout. A major component because I did not have the energy nor the capacity to do anything once I got off work. But I didn't have the energy to cook at all. Like I didn't have the energy. So it was a lot of food pickup. And I just gained the weight over time.
Wow. So then what was that aha moment or that moment you realized that you needed to reclaim your voice and start speaking again and get back to Leslie?
Mhm. Oh goodness, there's several. Um, One I remember being at a place called Cabin Coffee. It's here in Avon, Indiana. And one of my girlfriends was like, I was like, I was like, Monique, I don't, I feel like I have things to say. I know I have things to say, but I don't know if people will listen to me because of how I look. And she was like, people were going to listen. You have things to say. All you need is to give the Lord your yes. Just give the Lord your yes, surrender, and work on yourself. And so that's what I've just been doing. I replay it a lot over and over again because she spoke into my life and was like, you have something to say
Yes,
and you need to say it.
I agree. So you had
So,
you had to keep listening to that over and over again. And after she said those words to you, that motivated you and inspired you to reclaim your voice. How soon after that you started your talk show now?
I would say it's probably been at least a year and a half to 2 years, I want to say. I don't remember exactly when we had the conversation. I remember it was cooler outside.
Right. And
I
you,
just don't remember exactly when we had that conversation.
so
Yeah,
were you already planning on starting the Coach's Kitchen when you had that conversation with her?
absolutely not.
That was the conversation that triggered you to start your talk show.
So that conversation triggered me to work on Leslie Nicole Speaks, my coaching practice.
Okay.
So um, it was not um, that conversation. It was actually, I had been asked by one of my sorority sisters, Alpha Kappa Alpha, had asked in our chapter, does anyone have a story about mental health and how they've used mental health or how they've what did she say? It was more about how they your mental health journey. Are you ready to share your mental health journey? She had a talk show on the radio show.
Okay.
And I was like, sure, I'll share my mental health journey. No problem. Sure. And it was literally like a 5 minute shindig that I was on her show. I got off of there and I was exhilarated. Literally. I was like, kind of like what happened with you.
Oh,
So I
you get
so
it.
I was like, I need to go back to that. The Lord was like, yes, use your voice. Use
Yeah.
your voice to empower others. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really what happened.
And you went on the radio show and you talked about your mental health journey.
Hmm.
That was the thing. Like, yes. So that sounded to me like that was that aha moment where you realized that your voice needed to rise even higher because it was
Absolutely.
rising at the point you were on the talk show. And then you're like, I needed to rise even higher. So now I want to start my own talk show. Yeah.
Yep. I was like, I miss it. I miss it. I mean, we had MJ and I had done it back in Freedom Girls Talk when I lived in Chicago. but I was like, I had always said that I wanted to be like the next Oprah. And people were like, you know what? You're not Oprah though, because you're not Oprah. You're Leslie.
Yes,
You're Leslie.
yes,
You're Leslie. And the thing that differentiates us is I also do the coaching. Like she had the people on the show and, have a great life. Not to say that she's horrible or anything, but she's just like have a great life. But me, I'm like, okay, but if you want to work on your journey, we can also do that too.
yes,
So I've just always had an aspiration of being a talk show host, um of using my voice. And I just really need to go back to that.
yes. And I'm so happy you did. You
Yay.
have you have this mantra of stop before you go, and it's about embracing
Mm.
roadblocks before you can go. Can you talk about that? Shed a little light on what that means and where that mantra came from?
Yeah. We've all had I know I've had many roadblocks, many obstacles, many challenges, but a lot of the time we have been taught, especially as a Black culture, to just push it down and keep it moving.
Yeah,
Push it down and keep it moving.
yeah,
Well, I'm here to tell you that is not the way to deal with it.
yes,
So it's more or less, okay, let it come up, let it hit you in the face, deal with it, heal from it, get the people in your circle that can help you deal with it. So I have a life coach, I have a therapist, I have a fitness instructor slash trainer slash macro coach. Like I have people in my circle who are helping me deal with life. And
yes,
that's not to say, you're dealing with where we do deal with life. Life happens, right? And there are days that I'm low, there are days that I'm high, and even on my high days, I still talk to the life coach, I still talk to the therapist. And so, in order to really go to the next level, I have to stop
yes,
and embrace and deal with what I am dealing with,
right,
whether it's family, kids, me, others, it doesn't matter. My weight.
yeah.
So yeah.
How did you tackle the weight loss? Because you look great. Because I think you said that you're originally from Indianapolis, right? And
Hmm.
you moved to Chicago. So while you were here was when we met, and you
Correct.
look amazing. So the weight gain happened from the point you left Chicago to move back to Indianapolis, and then once
It
you,
happened about it started happening about 4 years ago during COVID.
yeah, and then so what
Mhm.
motivated you to get the weight off and say I'm enough of this. I need to get this weight off of
Mhm.
me. And was that the thing where that also helped you regain your confidence?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, I couldn't move. And I mean that seriously. I was gonna do have you ever heard of 75 hard before?
They have a
Okay.
75 soft too now.
They do.
Yeah,
And they do. And they had it back then. I was like, I'm a soldier and it's COVID. But anyway, so I did 75 hard. And one of the things that you have to do as a part of the program is exercise outside for 45 minutes.
yeah,
I walked 3 houses down and my back was in so much excruciating pain. I thought I was either going to have to crawl back home or call my husband to come pick me up. 3 houses, three. And I was like, absolutely not. So my workout that day, I pulled out a metal chair on my front patio and just was like this, doing stuff. I was like, Leslie, you have never been immobile like this, ever. Doing dishes hurt, doing laundry hurt, going up the steps hurt. I was like, this is not normal. And
right.
I get, oh my gosh, you're getting older. No, absolutely not. That is not it.
Yes.
You are you are not you're not eating healthy. You have been experiencing burnout. So now that you're not experiencing the burnout and you have the space to heal, it's time to work on you.
So
So I worked on myself and it's been a process.
So this was all like self motivation. When you walked those 3 houses down and realized I'm immobile now, my back is hurting, I can hardly move. that's what inspired you. Like, I got to get this weight off. I got to take back control over my life. And that was before
That
that that was before the life coach, before the weight trainer, before all. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, and I want to be around my family, you know, I want to be around for myself. And I knew that there was a higher calling on my life. And in order for people to listen to me, I needed to go through the process myself. So that I always say you can't preach you don't know about.
Yes,
Don't please don't try and preach to me about being married and you've never been married. Don't do that.
that's
Like,
that's
don't do that.
I completely agree, because we relate more with people who have gone through what we have gone through before.
Yes.
And it makes you
Yes.
appreciate their story even more, because you don't feel like you're out there alone, and you feel like there's somebody out there who understands me and understands what I'm going through. So then you're more open to listening to, what they have to say. Because if you never walked a mile in my shoes, like we would say, then you have no idea what I'm going through.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely. Like
so
I couldn't talk about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. That's you. That's fine.
but
Never doing that.
But it sounds like metaphorically, not maybe not literally, you are on your mountain climbing journey, because that's what this is. You've gone from feeling like you were at your lowest to now you're rising and you're getting back up there, and you're rising back to your highest point. And I think, from what I could see, you are way better now than you were when, of course, you started the journey. So your journey again is a metaphorical mountain climb. But like you said, like me climbing Mount Kilimanjaro is not relatable to you, but all our journey is like climbing a mountain. It's like a metaphor for life. The ups and downs, the highs and lows, and everything you go through as part of literally climbing the mountain. So you can relate in a sense, because you are climbing a mountain in this journey.
Mhm.
And you talked about
Mhm.
mental health. Was the mental health issues that you were dealing with because of the weight gain?
I mean, yes and no. So a lot of my mental health stems from, I call it circumstantial situations. So I've dealt with mental health issues since I was 16. So I've been in and out of therapy since I was 16. I think I've had maybe 7 or 8 therapists over my lifetime. But I, yeah, I am not one not to talk about it. I'm very open in talking about it. I mean, I take medicine now for anxiety. I go to therapy once a month. It used to be more like bi-weekly and sometimes weekly, just to get me through that very difficult moment of burnout and not feeling like myself. So yeah, it did not stem from that. However, that moment was really, really rough. It was really, really rough because I was lost. I
Yes.
didn't know who I was. My identity was shaken.
Oh, but you turned it around, and you still use your voice to help inspire other women who are on that same path of, I'm gaining all of this weight, because that happened to a lot of us, especially during COVID.
Oh yeah, it
We were
did.
sedentary. We sat in the house. We ate. We couldn't go anywhere, without fearing that we would contract COVID or whatever. And a lot of us dealt with that weight gain issue. And now a lot of us are dealing with the repercussions of that.
Mhm.
The illnesses and the sicknesses that go along with, being obese or obese or overweight. As a life coach, and you empower women so much, when you have to help people with their journey, do you do a lot of sharing your story with them as part of how they can heal?
So if they want to know about my story, I'll share, but it's not really about me in my coaching practice. It's really about the client. So my coaching approach is really learning about like what they're going through, what they want to accomplish, what are their goals. And so my approach is very customized based off of that one person. So there are coaches that have, their map to success, and
Yeah.
you're going to follow this 1, 2, 3 approach. That's not it for me. So I don't, there's not a 1, 2, 3 approach. It's not a group approach. This is me talking to you on a weekly basis to figure out what life has happened over the past week. And then on an ongoing basis, we customize, or I customize, um, how we will get to the next level. I also integrate personal and professional. So it's not just professional, it's not just personal, because if we think about it, we're at our jobs a lot throughout the day. But also, most of us have some type of family life.
Yeah.
So we're either moms, we're wives, we are bosses, we're entrepreneurs. We wear so many hats. So how do we integrate this so that way we can be our best selves?
Yes. I like that. And I like that your approach is not cookie cutter. It's not textbook. It's
Mhm,
not like you said, the 1, 2, 3. It's customized. Everybody's journey is different. Every story is different. And
absolutely.
you may not have experienced the exact same thing, but sometimes you have to change things around, and for you to
Mhm,
be able to have the flexibility to do that, that's an amazing way that you integrate that kind of thing into your practice. So I love to hear
mhm,
that. I think you coached me unknowing when
mm,
you inspired me to start, my show or my podcast. So that's how I could tell that you're good at it, because you're doing it and don't even know that you're doing
mhm.
it.
I realized that when I started my coaching practice too, because I reached out to like people that I've mentored over the years, or that I've coached over the years, or that maybe have been like my little sis. I'm like, hey, can you provide a testimonial? And they're like, Leslie, you've been doing this forever. It's time for you to get paid. I was like, what? Like, yes, you are the reason that I started this business. And now that I've launched in Puerto Rico, I'm sorry, what? Like, mind blown,
Yes,
mind blown.
it is your calling. And I know, because when you're doing it so effortlessly and you don't even know you're doing it, but you're so impactful. Yes, you need to do it and make money doing it, because people will pay you. And it's the best money spent when you
Mhm,
could feel like, you're not only helping, but you're allowing people to have a conversation with you that doesn't feel like there's pressure, because it's so easy to talk to you. And anytime you're in a life coaching business, or therapy in general, you just don't want to feel like the therapist or the life coach is reading from a textbook. You want it to feel flawless, like it's like you're talking to a friend. And
mhm.
that's exactly how I feel when I'm talking to you.
Oh, thank you.
So your
Ditto.
story also include another added layer to your story, includes going through a financial heartbreak. Um, I talked about in my book, financial heartbreak looks like to me walking into the door and hoping that my lights were still turned on, and then using payday loan stores to take out loans to rob Peter to pay Paul, and those types of things. And then, another addition to my story was me leaving a six-figure income, leaving
Mhm,
corporate to start my own skincare business. Uh,
mhm,
that's what that whole financial heartbreak looked like to me. What was
mhm.
your financial heartbreak? What was that? Tell us about that story.
Whew. Can I tell you, I actually equate Chicago to my financial heartache. It's so hard
Not a good thing.
to this day, and I'm serious, to this day, it is so hard. It like I've gotten better, but it's like hard for me to like drive to the city of Chicago. Like my whole being just like I'm so serious. And it's not the suburbs. I'm talking about the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
And so there were times, I mean, our bank account was overdrawn so many times I can't count. I have no idea. I've had to borrow money so many times I can't count. But the one thing that really got our attention is we woke up one day and my car wasn't there.
Yeah.
And my sister was living, with us at the time, and she was like, somebody stole your car. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I called the police, reported it stolen. They were like, yeah, your car hasn't been stolen. It's been repossessed and it's headed down to such and such. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I cried hysterically. And so we had talked to my parents, we talked to my husband's parents, and they were like, so what else is there out there? And they were like, call the mortgage company. Go ahead, call them. So we
Before
called
we
them.
go any further, let
Yep.
me ask you, because a lot of times when we go through that, I totally relate to the car repossessed story. And if you read the book, if you have not gotten to that part of my story in the book, it's in there where I talk about I knew damn well my car was repossessed.
I didn't know. I actually I thought somebody stole my car. I
Yeah,
really did. I really did. I
because
really did.
that's the first thing that comes to mind because it's surreal when you walk out and I know I parked my car right here and it's gone. So the first thing you do is automatically think somebody stole my car. It's such a surreal moment. When you say the part where you say we called our parents, a lot of times you don't want anybody to know because it's such an embarrassment. So what inspired you? Like, was that like a rock bottom for you where you knew like, okay, I got to bring my parents in on this because now I know that it's bad. Because I want the audience to know we have a hard time asking for help and reaching out to people when we're in trouble and we need to just call on the resources that we have. What motivated you to just like, we got to call, we got to call, we got to ask for help?
I had a newborn child. And I was like, well, we need help
Yeah.
because we have this baby. My baby Ava, she's so precious. But we had this baby, and I was crying hysterically. And my mother was like, "You need to, your baby can feel that energy." So
Yeah.
she actually talked me down and gave me a sense of peace.
Yeah.
But I honestly felt like I had no other choice but to call my mama and daddy.
Yes.
And they came up from St. Louis. My husband's parents came up, not the same day, of course, but they all came the same day, but not like at that moment. But they came from Indianapolis and had a whole intervention. We talked about our finances, how we could come up with a plan. We moved out. We moved into my auntie's house. Thank the Lord for Auntie Barbara. But we moved into her house so we could pay $400 for rent
Yes.
in the city of Chicago. That doesn't even exist.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the resources, you talk about asking for help, the
Yes.
resources that we had between my parents, between my aunt, between my uncle who would come over and help with different things on the house, like we had no other choice, but I am forever grateful for those that helped. I'm forever grateful for my coworker who bought me shoes when my shoes were raggedy and I didn't have enough money to go into the store to go buy me some $10 or $20 flats. I'm grateful for my mother and my sister wiring me money so I
Yeah.
could get home from work,
Yeah.
not to work, home from work.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the manager who had no idea when he said, you want to take the leftovers from the meeting home? I mean, I'm not going to do anything. You want to take it home? And I was like, no, knowing darn well, yes.
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, just take it. I was like, okay. And so then we would have food for the next 2 or 3 days. And I remember my aunt coming in there probably about a year later, and she was like, I can tell that y'all are doing well, Leslie. Y'all fridge is full.
Wow. Wow. I'm starting to read this book called The Psychology of Money.
Mm,
And in this book, it reminds us that financial success isn't about knowledge, and it speaks about financial, just the finances. It's about behavior, discipline, patience, and emotional control.
mm,
What are some of the things like how did How did being at your rock bottom moment shape your decisions about money and finances going forward?
Being very mindful. I mean, I, I felt like because we literally went from not being able to afford a hot dog to go in the hot dog bun for my child. So feeding her ketchup sandwiches to, oh, I can actually afford a $50 plate of food. Um, but not doing that every night. Like, you can't do it every night. Like, you need to cook.
Yeah.
Um, so it's been a journey. It's been a journey. I feel like I'm still on the journey
Yeah.
financially. We're still on the journey of, building our finances and building wealth for our family and building a legacy for our family. But that also comes with abiding by and listening to or giving reverence to God and the calling that He's had on our life. Because if we just say yes to Him, then we can thrive versus chasing money, like you said in the beginning.
Yes. I think that like a lot of our financial decisions and how we treat money, sometimes that comes from, trauma or
Mhm.
fears or, our definition of enough. Um, and so those things, like you talk about, there was a question that I asked you, like what's one of the things that people would be surprised to know about you? And you said you spoke about fear.
Mm-hmm.
How do these factors show up for you right now? Even though you're recovering from that financial hardship, things are growing, you're learning better, you're doing better with finances. What does that look like? What does that look like?
In retrospect to finances or just period?
Just finances specifically, because
Hmm.
there's a lot of that that's going around, like finances and hardships around finances could suppress voices. It's
Hmm.
one of those things that deter people from asking for help. Sometimes
Yeah.
people rather suffer in silence and not ask for help. But how, like, you overcame that by bringing in your community, bringing in your mom and your husband's mom, and bringing everybody in on what's going on with you, asking for help. Like, how
Yep.
how do these things show up for you now
Mhm.
today?
Yep. I would say asking for help, to be honest with you. Like we were not meant to live this life alone. We
Ex-
weren't. We
love that.
we
I love it.
we we don't know everything. There's a problem if you're the smartest person in the room, because there are other people out there that can help us in various aspects of our life. And so for us, it's finding a great business accountant, finding someone that can do our bookkeeping now that we do have our business. So my husband, we share a business. I do the coaching, he does productions, etc. Um, and it's called Life's Moments. So, we need someone who can manage our business income and show us like how do we pay ourselves. And so now we have that streamlined.
Yeah.
But we don't have to do that by ourselves. And so we're at the point where we can pay someone
Yes.
to help us. However, there was a point, and there's still a point when people cannot afford that.
Yes.
But there are free resources out there to help us. So I always say tap into your resources.
Yes.
There's somebody out there, whether it's a paid resource or an unpaid resource, where people can help.
Yes. You said reinvention was one of the themes of Shots Fired that you resonated with. When
Mhm.
you think about reinvention and your idea that you're going to stop chasing money, which is interesting, having gone from your rock bottom moment to then trying to build the financial strength back up, and then going from that to then having your idea about now it's time to stop chasing money and start
Mhm.
pursuing your calling.
Mhm.
I need to know how all of that works, because that fear of going back to that place, being in a financial destitute situation. to
Yep.
then saying, I'm going to stop chasing money and I'm going to follow my calling? How does that work for you?
Well, I used a thing called wisdom. So I still have a technically a 9 to 5 that I work Monday through Thursday. And I view that as, it has been a huge blessing to be an executive consultant with Boyd in Boston. So we do executive recruiting. And so that has been a healing component for me. It also has been a place where I can have community and a network, but it's also my investor. So I think of it as this is my investor into Leslie Nicole Speaks and to the Coach's Kitchen. I
Yeah,
don't have to be out here struggling to do the Coach's Kitchen and Leslie Nicole Speaks. I can utilize the investors, which
yeah,
are, my business.
yeah,
So people don't have to just quit. I mean, I chose to quit. You chose to quit because we had the ability to do so. You don't have to do it that way. This time, I'm not quitting just because, oh, the Lord has called me to do this. He has, and told me that you still have mouths to feed. You still have a responsibility as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter of the Most High, and just to take care of yourself. You want all these resources, and you want I call them my personal board of directors.
yeah,
Well, guess what? You got to pay them. So they're investors into not only my business, but they invest into my life.
yeah.
Boyd in Boston is an investor into Leslie Nicole Smith.
Yes, you just have to find, even when you're recovering from financial hardship, you just have to find the right community, the right
Yes.
resources, and the right people to surround yourself with so that you
Mhm.
don't fall back into that because there is a way that you can. Why can't we have it all? Why can't I still do what I love and not burn myself out, not run myself into the ground because I have to be a prisoner to a 9 to 5?
Yeah.
Because there's a great balance between being happy and then, your livelihood. You have to have
Mhm.
a way to make money. But I love how you made both things work for you. You still
Mhm.
had a way to make money, but you still had a way to follow your calling and stop chasing the money and just more so chase your happiness.
Yes.
You have a favorite scripture, Joshua 1:9, that says, Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not
Mhm.
be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. How does this scripture guide you when that fear creeps in? Like you have that whole fear factor. How does this
Yep.
scripture help you with that fear?
Girl. First part of that says, Have I not commanded you?
Yeah,
I'm like, the Lord is telling you, do what I tell you to do. Because the thing is, your yes is connected to so many other people's destinies. Like, if you don't say yes, then someone else first of all, they may be waiting, or they may be set back because you haven't said yes yet.
yeah,
I literally, before we went live for the Coach's Kitchen, when you were the guest,
yeah,
I swear, 15 minutes beforehand, I was like, Lord, why did I say yes to this? For real? But had I not said yes, we wouldn't be sitting here.
yeah.
We wouldn't be sitting here.
And that's
Had I been like, Tracy, oh, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna do this anymore.
yeah. And that's what I talked about earlier. Like we go through this, everything has to be perfect first. And we have to learn more about how to do it afraid,
Yep.
do it imperfectly, and move forward with it anyway. Because we are full of excuses. We can make excuses all day long. But like you said, your yes your yes could be the difference between somebody, you know, being so discouraged and not feeling like they have a way out or a way to make it. And because you said yes, you don't know how many people who are within listening distance to your ears you
Yep.
are helping. So
Yeah.
like I said earlier, I'm so glad you said yes.
And I still get afraid. Don't get me wrong. I still get nervous.
Yes.
I still get nervous. I still, I'm just like, oh Jesus, am I really supposed to be doing this? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I interviewed the CEO of Chicago Integrated Health a couple weeks ago on my podcast. And I asked her, I was like, so do you ever, like, how is it different now than, when you were making $5 an hour? She's like, it's not. It's just bigger decisions. But I still contemplate. I still have, like, I still think, like, to myself, like, ooh, should I, like, am I supposed to be doing this, Lord? But the Lord said yes. But the thing is, the reason this is my personal belief, when we have that inner fear or hesitation, it requires us to truly depend on Him. Period. We can't do this by ourselves.
Surrender. Yeah.
He will be, yes, He will be with us wherever we go. He will be with us wherever we go. We're not going on this journey by ourselves. So we need Jesus in order to get through the fear or the hurdle or the hesitation or the imposter syndrome. That's the only way that I'm able to keep going is through his power to lift me up and to move. Because otherwise, I'd have been like, y'all, TCK is canceled.
Exactly. I go through the same thing with this
Mhm.
podcast. I still have to find a way to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
And then, also keeping in mind that fear and faith don't exist.
Beside. Yep.
And if I continue to just keep that in mind, then that's what'll keep the show going and keep my voice from being suppressed because
Mhm.
we need to tell our story. Keep going, keep talking, keep telling your story because even if it helps one person,
Mhm.
then that's doing something.
That's right.
Let's talk about your show, your Coach's Kitchen show. When you learn to embrace those roadblocks, one
Mhm.
of the roadblocks was starting your show, and then all of the roadblocks that got in the way, even up to the point of you having your first episode. How many episodes do you have now?
8? I haven't counted. Isn't that awful? I think it's 8.
From that first one to the one that you have now.
Mhm. Mhm.
How do you keep moving those roadblocks out of the way just to keep going? What is that motivate and inspire you to keep doing that?
Oh, brother. I know that first of all, I know that I've been called to do it. I
Yeah.
know that I've been called to do it. Others have said, Leslie, don't stop because you're helping whomever. Um, I just know that I know there's a reason. I know this is a season. I love empowering women. I love for women to know, you know what? There's more.
Yes.
There's more.
Yes.
There's more. And what keeps me going also logistically is scheduling my podcast for the future. So like right now, I am scheduling for quarter 1 of 2026. And then once that is booked, I'll go to quarter 2. So I'm committed. Like, and then also my life coach has taught me that future clients, future guests, they like to see consistency. So I can't stop. You
Yes.
just have to keep going. Just keep going and keep going and keep going.
Yes.
But that also creates a brand for Leslie Nicole. It also creates a brand for Tracy Lance. You just keep going, and they will see not only the fruits of your labor, but they'll also trust and respect and believe that you're in it.
Yes. Consistency is key because the moment you stop, then you lose people. People
Mhm.
will fall off because then now you're not reliable. And now I can't trust that you're going to keep the conversations going like you promised. Because even if you have in your mind that this is helping somebody,
Mhm.
it really inspires you to keep doing it. Because like we talked about earlier, it's not easy,
Mm-mm.
but it's worth it.
Mhm. And it takes a lot of time.
Yes.
It takes a lot of time.
Yes. So if you imagine a woman listening right now who feels stuck, who's silenced, or she's afraid to pursue her calling, or I don't want to say her or she, it's anybody. who feels this, what do you want that person to know? What is the main thing you want that person to take away from your message?
Oh, the main thing. Oh my gosh, there's so many, Tracy.
Main thing, the main thing.
You don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there. However, like on the Coach's Kitchen, we talk about how it's not fast food healing, it's a process.
Yes,
It's a process.
I love
It's a
that.
process. We're baking, we're crock potting it. We are not, this is not microwavable. It's not something that's just going to happen overnight.
Yeah,
But what are the ingredients that you need for your recipe to get out of that?
that's right.
Whatever it is.
Yes,
Or to go, not even, it may not even get out. It could be just moving on to the next level.
yes,
What are the ingredients that you need? For me, it's my personal board of directors. It's
yes,
my life coach, it's my therapist, it's my trainer slash macro nutritionist.
yes,
And then, of course, my friends and family. But, those are the people that I pay, though,
yes.
in order for me to continue whipping up my recipe.
That's right. I love that. I love that. So you talked about how you have your Coach's Kitchen schedule is booked out through the first quarter of next year.
We're almost through the first quarter of next year. So we are still booking guests. I'm having meetings with folks and seeing, what they could bring to the show. So I have two meetings coming up here within the next couple of weeks. But yes, we are already booking into January's booked. We're looking at February and March, and then we'll go on over to Q2.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, the thing about the Coach's Kitchen though is we really talk about like that professional and personal stories. And so we just have those true, authentic conversations like we did today, because that's what people want, that's what women want to hear.
I
They
love it.
don't want to hear like, oh yeah, so I did this and I no.
So
Yeah.
talk about what type of guests you are ideal for coming on your show. So if
Yeah.
anybody's listening here and they want the opportunity to come and share their voice with you and be on the show, talk about who's an ideal guest for your Coach's Kitchen.
An ideal guest is one who is willing to have an authentic conversation. So nothing is edited. We just have a conversation. But it is a high achieving women who they could have a family, they could not. But I would say most of the people that I have interviewed have had families. Um, and they have a lot going on. They have a lot going on. And I don't mean successfully. They may be running kids over here. They may be having to go over here. They got board meetings. They doing this, they doing that. But they appear to be keeping it together. But there's something else going on in their life.
Yes,
So how did you get through that something else that went on in your life in order to still be successful?
yes, that sounds like
Um,
a whole lot of women.
a whole lot. It's pretty much all of us.
Yes,
But
that sounds like you will not have any problem continuing to cast your show.
yeah.
Um, so how can listeners connect with you if they want to reach out and say how about this story, how does this sound, would I make an ideal guest for your show? Well, how
Mhm.
can they connect with you?
So I am everywhere at Leslie Nicole Speaks. So LinkedIn, Leslie Nicole Speaks, LinkedIn / Leslie Nicole Speaks, or you can look me up by name, Leslie Nicole Smith. On IG, I am Leslie Nicole Speaks. I also have an IG for the Coach's Kitchen, that's tck.live. And then on Facebook, I'm Leslie Nicole Speaks 25. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, Leslie Nicole Smith or Leslie Nicole Speaks. I'm pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm going to add your contact information to the show notes just so everybody will be able to reach out to you. But thank you so much for sharing your voice
Thank
and for showing
you.
us this process is sacred. You were very transparent with us and you shared things that it's not easy for many people to talk about. So I appreciate that. You showed us that stopping before you go is not failure, that silence is not the end, and that reclaiming your voice transforms everything. Leslie Nicole Smith, a true example of rising with courage. Thank you so much, Leslie. I appreciate you so much for coming on the show and sharing your voice and your story.
And I appreciate the invitation, Miss Tracy. Thank you.
And I'm so proud of you. I will continue to follow your show and watch because you do such an amazing job. I'm riding your coattail and I'm learning from you with every.
We're going together, honey.
I love watching you work, and I'm just looking forward to see all the big things that's coming for the show, and the guests continue to inspire me. I think you had a guest on who I reached out and I became Facebook friends with her because her story is so motivational, and I want to stay connected. Just all of the stories so far have been just nothing short of amazing. So your guests are amazing, just like you. And thank you again for your willingness to empower women and keep us motivated and inspired. And just, continue doing this work because it's so important. Your voice needs to be heard. It was suppressed long enough. So now it's time for you to continue speaking and continue shining like I know you do so well.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Amen. Thank you, love.
Remember, the journey to healing isn't a straight climb, but every step forward matters. So wherever you are on your journey, feel it, face it, trust that something greater is always waiting on the other side. Thank you for giving yourself the gift of exploring what it really means to survive, to heal, and to rise. Let's take this journey, keep traveling, and rise together.
I'm touching the sky. Not my trauma, not my chains. Turn the struggle into gains. Every step I rise again. Watch me fly.